Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to a Game of Thrones Everything Goes Q&A with yours truly, Azor Hype, Secrets of the Citadel, and GeekChat1. I would like to welcome my co-hosts. Before we get into the stream this evening, I have my lovely, as always, J.R. Rowley.
Oh, wow. Changing it up a bit. Woo, I see what you did there. That's, wow. I don't even know what to do with that. Ladies first, Gemma, how are you?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me on. An absolute pleasure to be here. Happy Friday, everybody in the chat.
And that's a hard note on a Sheridan in the chat. JR.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Kyle, thanks for having me on as always. And looking forward to some Q&As from like literally every platform that we're all on. So that's kind of fantastic.
Yeah, when we had a discussion behind closed doors and we hadn't done one of these Anything Goes Q&As in a while. So me and Gemma were discussing it behind the scenes, and then we were like, hey, JR, would you like to come on? Let's involve GeekChat1. We involved Patreon, GeekChat1, some of the comment section questions. And we decided, since we've been doing character breakdowns, I think it was like the past month or so, switch it up, slow it down, have some more fun, make it more open-ended so all of you can get as many questions in as possible, because we often do not get to all of the questions that are posed in one live stream. There's just so many awesome people. But what we're going to do today is we have some questions from Patreon and GeekChat1. We're going to go with those first, and we'll have an open Q&A session, huge open Q&A session for the chat, all of you. We have a pre-stream donation from Travis Michael, and he says, what's up, Kyle and friends? Glad to be able to join this one. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Yeah, happy belated Valentine's Day, everyone. I can be your Valentine, I suppose, is an appropriate. I don't know if some of you saw me put out the memes. With
Valentine or valonqar?
Yeah, Valentine, valonqar. I put out some Valentine's Day memes with Arya killing Walder Frey and Sandor Clegane. I can be your ... F off Valentine. So, but yeah, so where should we start off? Gemma, we have our questions this evening. I believe the first one is from PJ, who we both want to thank for her generosity and love and hype. She is quite awesome.
Yes, I don't have the question if you're expecting me to ask it.
I
know you
there you have the answer to all of us are equally organized. That is a no. The first question of the evening. Yeah, I threw some shade there. First question of the evening. Please explore, PJ says, PJ of Ice and Fire, please explore any book or show clues as to how Cersei will meet her end.
Oh,
Gemma.
that's right. Yeah, I remembered now. Yeah, you did send me them earlier on. The valonqar prophecy obviously is huge. We've had show clues, albeit potentially not subtle, but maybe kind of a bit obscure almost, like the map that was on the floor and Cersei stood on the neck, and we all went nuts when we saw those photographs and things.
Has valonqar actually been said in the show? I believe no, right? valonqar has not been announced.
It hasn't. No. That was not part of, I mean, obviously, Maggie the Frog was, they did the flashback. It was the first flashback they ever actually did, was Cersei going to see Maggie the Frog, and she talked about the younger queen that's going to cast her down, that gold will be their crowns and gold will be their shrouds and all of that business. But as far as I can recall, I'm pretty certain the valonqar itself wasn't actually mentioned in the show's version. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. It didn't get covered in the show. And my thoughts on it, I have different ones for the show and the book, obviously, but I'm actually going to make a video about that because I let loose one of my slightly tinfoil theories about Cersei's death on Robert's stream. And I asked a bunch of people in GeekChat1, hey, do you actually want to see this? Flushed out theory with evidence and everything else. Right. And like everybody comes back. It was like, yeah, why is this not a thing yet? So I'm actually working on that video now, and that'll be probably one of the only ones I'll do on Game of Thrones, because it's not inherently my shtick. It's y'all's thing that I love and love talking to you guys about. So I try to stay out of Game of Thrones stuff.
And by the way, this is natural light coming in from the windows right now. You wouldn't believe how happy I am to see that there's still light out after 5 p.m. during the day, okay? So I'm smiling a little lot today. It's because I'm getting some vitamin D and I'm not dying from complete darkness. But let's, JR, so your thoughts, show versus book are going to be...
I still want the valonqar to come true, but the way that they've done it in the show doesn't really allow for it. So I still think it's a possibility that it'll be loosely framed in that area. I think her standing on the neck is inherently important because the neck becomes the Thermopylae of Westeros. If anybody knows Greek history, the Greco-Persian Wars, it is the Thermopylae where you can make your numbers count for the most. And I think there's going to be a double front that gets opened up on Jon and Dany's forces in the neck. And I think that's going to play into part of it.
So JR, for those of you that don't know the Battle of Thermopylae, the Spartans taking on the massive Persian army, they were outnumbered something like 20,000. The Persian men, there was like 300,000 Persian men to like 1,000.
It was a 7-nation army is what the Persians brought to bear in Thermopylae on the second invasion of the Greek mainland. And basically it accounts for over 1 million man standing army is what they brought. And 300 Spartans and 6,000 other city-states of Greece were at that battle to make the stand. Eventually, the Spartans were left themselves. They were the only ones that stayed.
We will get to the super chat questions after. Thank you, Flush Weasel, for the donation. So anybody that does make a donation, we will be saving those for the Q&A portion of the stream. We also have some trivia that we'll be mixing in that Gemma has been kind enough to procure for us for today's stream. But yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I mean, valonqar hasn't been announced, but there's obviously been subtle clues. When Cersei was crowned, obviously we had the standoffish moment where Jaime is glaring in at Cersei and he knows. Gemma's lifting her hand. Go ahead.
You just reminded me, from season 8 onwards, Cersei's costume has also featured spiky neck pieces, which is an indication she's trying to protect somebody from wrapping their cold white hands around her neck.
Very, very interesting that is visualized for our show version. We obviously haven't got that far in the books, but as she becomes more paranoid and concerned about what she was told, that will certainly be something that she's thinking about. So great catch by Gemma there. But yeah, we've all discussed this quite a few times. But let's go. I'm still on the Jaime train. If it isn't Jaime, it's Arya, and that's where I think it's going, book or show. Jaime, and I think JR, you said Arya a couple different times.
Right, and I'm kind of changing on it just because I'm going with my tinfoil, man. Like I love tinfoil. It's fun. It's some of the ones that I originally thought, like way back in the day of like Westeros.org boards, when I was talking about Davos being Lightbringer and being a representation of Lightbringer, namely from his shadow casting on the map table at Dragonstone. That was one of the first theories I ever came up with, and I thought it was tinfoil at the time. But more as it came on, I was like, no, this is actually kind of a thing, right? And so my Cersei one, I'm kind of like slowly I'm romanticizing it. So I'm falling in love with it more and more.
And that's the thing. We actually, red herrings, they're a thing. People. A lot of the time, I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone in the community. I'm just saying people say what they want to see happen. And I think that, we take it a little bit far. We don't have the wins.
Yeah, but we always try to balance it with supporting evidence and textual evidence and, inside of the construct of the way the story is told. That's how we theory craft, right? And this lends itself to theory crafting. And it's a lot of fun. It's like, to me, it's like, what's the most fun part about buying a lottery ticket? It's talking with your friends about what you're going to do with all the damn money, right? That's worth $1.
Doesn't actually happen,
Yeah, it doesn't actually happen. But hey, that's $1 worth of entertainment for me because I get to talk about all this stuff that I would do with it, right?
So there's quite a few comments on Gemma, obviously, in the chat. I'm a little bit offended that nobody's talking about my beard, but that's fine, as I'm growing it back, and I will not be shaving it for Con Thrones this year. Hint.
Oh, so you are going full Tormund?
I don't know. But we have some. JR, I can't give away all of my secrets.
Why not?
Okay, no Tormund.
Perhaps, but we have some amazing people in chat. Otila Angel, I saw someone shout out Costume Co, who's another content creator. Yes. She has talked about Cersei's outfit. You can go check her out. Mods,
She's
if you find
wonderful. I love her channel so much. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure. I actually don't
guilty.
Well, no, I actually don't often watch other Game of Thrones content creators on YouTube, but you guys will understand on my downtime, I kind of want nothing to do with Game of Thrones almost.
Right?
I have many other interests in my life, essentially.
Oh, wow, you do, Gemma? I
do. So I focus on those when I'm kind of relaxing. It's like I finished work, right? But Costume Co, I will watch her purely from a pleasure fan point of view because it's utterly fascinating, and I have cited her a couple of times in my videos. Actually,
mods are usually great at sometimes when we shout people out. I don't have the links in the description of you. I always have the links to the people that are appearing on the stream, but mods, if you want to go find her link and insert that into the comment section in the live chat, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, Heidi's super fun. I actually met her for the first time on Robert's stream last week, so that was a lot of fun. It was right when those pictures got released, so it was great.
Kyle EC doesn't have a beard. Kyle has joined Team Tormund. We have some other amazing... Christina Schlegel. Hi, my loves. Great way to start Friday night. I agree. You know what? The fact that, like, God, this is the happiest I've been in a long time. I mean, yeah, the vitamin D that I got today was like the first in I don't know how long. I got this light right here, as you can see, shining on my face to make sure that I don't die.
Sorry to interrupt, Kyle. Can I just address a couple of things in the chat that I've seen? Yes, Maya of Ice and Fire, this is a Spider-Man mug. It's awesome. It was very expensive for a mug. And yes, Mama Ogre, thank you for appreciating. This is my Game of Thrones George R. R. Martin shrine. I have a bookshelf that has just all my other books on it, but this is literally pretty much all George R. R. Martin. There is some other things on here. I've got some Dragonlance Chronicles on here as well. Dune's on here somewhere, but it is predominantly Game of Thrones content on this particular shelf. We call it my George R. R. Martin shelf. There is actually a pop figure of George R. R. Martin sent to me by the beautiful
Linda.
Thank you for that. It's my most treasured possession.
Before we go on, I saw a couple people asking what beverages we were having this evening. I am currently having a Lafroig and sour, so Scotch and sour. JR, I saw you had a big mug of something. I'm assuming that's rum. I know that's your favorite.
That's actually not rum. That's iced tea. Iced tea with some vodka.
Iced tea. All right. So
It's
kind of like a Long Island.
Palmer.
Spiked Arnold Palmer. Okay. Yeah. JR is having a spiked Arnold Palmer, and Gemma's having coffee.
Black, like my soul.
Well, then there you have your
You
answer.
are so full of it. Your soul is anything but black.
All right, so we are already 15 minutes in, and we've only answered one question. We are in so much trouble. Second question of the evening, PJ. Thank you so much. I know you couldn't be here for the early parts of the stream. When you see this, we love you. Catherine, another Patreon question. I believe Katrine's a patron of both me and you, Gemma.
Yes.
Most events, Katrina suggested that most events have been foreshadowed in the first season. Arya with needle frozen between her fingers. What do you all think about that? That is mentioned as that's a book passage, Gemma. Will that actually happen? I'm going to be right back.
I think so. Kyle and I have actually discussed this many times because the first line in the entire series is "we should start back," and I don't think that was just a casual comment between Garrett and Will and Waymar Royce. I think that was George R. R. Martin telling us quite literally that everything we need to know about this entire story is in that first book, A Game of Thrones, and I genuinely believe that that is Arya's fate, because being found with a cold dead with a needle still clutched, she hadn't even got needle at this point. She certainly hadn't named the sword, but it's kind of my one point of cited reference whenever I talk about Arya dying, and Kyle doesn't want Arya to die. He doesn't believe Arya is going to die, so we've argued back and forth on that one. So maybe JR, you could be the mediator, because we already know how Kyle feels. He wants to entirely dismiss that quote, and he wants to see her marrying Gendry or going west of Westeros, or just doing something awesomely Arya. But I think she's going to die. Sorry.
Yeah, the only downside for George R. R. Martin is he's going to end up divorced, because Paris absolutely will not have it. It has told George as much.
It wouldn't be the first time he got divorced, so you know.
That's true, but he seems to be pretty fond of Paris. So, you know, whatever happens with Arya, I'll be fine with it. It'll be very fitting if she does die. And conversely, if she goes west of Westeros, I'm fine with that. The last thing that I ever want to see her do is to settle down and be a lady of something. Like, to me, that would just make me vomit over the character that is inherently Arya. Right? She's like the Batman of Westeros. Like, no, either she needs to die doing what she loves, or she needs to go somewhere else and be no one.
Yeah, I just think I don't know, I think there's a lot of wishful thinking, because Arya is, of course, an incredibly popular character. I love her. Who doesn't love Arya Stark? She's savage. She's awesome.
And who doesn't love Maisie Williams' portrayal of her? I mean, she slam dunks it.
And George R. R. Martin's wife, Paris.
We already covered that.
But yeah, this is old news, Kyle.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think, you know, guys, Game of Thrones. This is Game of Thrones.
We're not gonna get a happy ending. This is Ramsay Bolton's quote. If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
You think this has a happy ending?
What will happen are likely to be two very different things. Sorry for the reality check.
Wow.
I'm probably wrong about half of this, as another famous YouTuber would say anyway.
Katrin? Yeah, I think Arya survives the whole story. So that's just my take on it. I think that she actually, in the show, I think she ends up in Bravos, taking over Lady Crane's role. But in the books, I think that, you know, it's really open-ended. There's more of a chance that she dies in the books. However, I don't think she dies. So thank you. And PJ even says that's in. We have all the other comments. Sorry, on Patreon when I ask all the questions, everybody's commenting on everybody else's questions and like complimenting each other. We have an awesome community. Everybody's so supportive of everybody else. Donna Bettis. And by the way, chat, we are going to have an open Q&A for chat questions after. What's so funny?
The chat. No, this is progressed. Somebody said, "Remember when Gemma was purple?" And they're all discussing the very recent revelation. This is brand new information that I am vegan, but now we have this hashtag Team Purple Vegan Gemma. Thank you for that, 26 Art Girl. It's getting a little bit crazy in the chat there. I'm just giggling at that.
You know, if only there was a way to commemorate Purple Gemma, say on a T-shirt or something.
That might be in the works. That might have been discussed.
But anyway, I don't know.
We've only answered 2 questions and we're 20 minutes in. Let's get to the third question. Donna Bettis, what is going to be the most frustrating unanswered question when this series ends? Who is Quaithe? What Varys and the Sorcerer in the box, etc. So Donna wanted to know from Patreon which thing is going to irk us the most out of all the unanswered things that George will not give us a final answer on.
How long have you got?
Give me your, I mean, pick one. Pick like what your very, very top thing.
Oh my! The box, what happened, but not so much what happened to the man in the box, because we can just kind of assume that he had met some kind of gruesome demise. But what was said to Varys? What were those words that were spoken when the flames turned blue? I need to know what was said and how that came about, and I am pretty certain we are never going to find out.
JR?
Hey, Elmar and Ashley, thanks for popping in, saying hi. I'm with Gemma on this one. I absolutely want to know everything that stupid wizard from Essos knows. And, you know, maybe we'll get a bit of Kinvara confirming what was actually said to Varys. I think it's a bit of a red herring. Of course, he's going to die in Westeros. He's not planning any trips to Essos anytime soon. But I don't think it's going to be on the timeline that Melisandre is implying. I think I think he will be there to help form the new image of Westeros.
That's really interesting. People in the chat are
Great
talking about.
Dane's got a good one.
Say that again.
Great Dane's got a good one. Can you see it?
Great unanswered question. What did Podrick do to those hookers? It's actually whores, but yeah, that's
the working
fine.
ladies, paramours. They don't have to be hookers or whores. We can come up with lots of pretty names for it. Companion.
Well, first of all, the Sir Pounce question just got announced the other day, so that was going to be mine if Sir Pounce has survived the whole series, because I'm a huge animal lover. If you do follow me, I love posting all about capybaras and cats and dogs. So Sir Pounce was going to be the main one. Kidding, just kidding. I don't know. It's really difficult to pick now that I am in this scenario, but I think it has something to do with. I mean, I don't think we're going to get everything on the White Walkers in the show, unfortunately, because we are getting the prequel. So that's going to be something that is probably going to really piss me off. But you know what? In the books, it's going to be Rickon. Okay, people, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Rickon's direwolf is named Shaggy Dog. And if you're not familiar with the term Shaggy Dog, it actually means a story that leads to nowhere, or it actually amounts to nothing. So I think that a lot of people that think that Rickon is going to be some like crazy, amazing Stark King, like you know, like Ned's brother Bran, and he's going to be like this wild Stark King. Good luck with that, because I think he's a goner.
But Kyle, what if this is George R. R. Martin? What if Shaggy Dog is a double bluff? Okay.
Correct. That's where I'm going. It's too on the nose for me. Like,
Yeah.
I know what a Shaggy Dog is, and I think it's awesome that Rickon names his dog that, right? But that is too on the nose.
You know what? I am willing to get a second ass cracking tattoo. but I'm telling you, I'm like 100% off the whole Rickon. Like, I mean, he's like, I don't know. Just call it a hunch.
Let me paint a picture for you, Kyle. Okay, Davos has arrived at Skargos. He's getting off his boat, and there comes this army of horny goats with Rickon at the forefront, riding his Shaggy Dog, the king of Skargos.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
I am shipping it 100%.
No, you're not. That is pure sarcasm.
And I'll go with an alternative picture. I'll paint another beautiful narrative that'll happen. And that is Jon facing certain doom, leading the wildlings down south. And Davos' mission comes through just in the nick of time. And in comes Rickon with his whole army of Skagosi cannibals riding into battle to save his brother, and ultimately dies on the field of battle. But at least he goes out honorably.
Wow. So he returns just to die in. Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Chad is absolutely hilarious right now. J-Lord with the donation. In the books, I think the Umbers will hand over directly by protecting him for a time, then be slaughtered by the Boltons for it. I mean, It really depends what happens with Stannis in the books, right? Because Jon is dead, right? And assuming, let's just assume he's going to end up in Ghost based on what Melisandre has said. That's a big complication and something that we can't exactly say what's going to happen. So I still think that Rickon is the least important of who's left of the Starks. I could be completely wrong. George could be throwing us for a loop, but that's what it is.
Actually, next Wednesday and then Saturday, we're doing a 2-part live stream. Us three and Robert from Indeed Geek. We're doing one on my channel and then one on GeekChat1 YouTube channel, aren't we, guys? And we're going to be discussing the great or the grand northern conspiracy. So all of these kind of Rickon definitely has to come into this equation at some point. I won't get into that in massive detail because we are now almost half an hour in and we've only answered 3 questions.
3.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot more of that. And you mentioned the Umbers and the Boltons. We're going to be unraveling all of that. We're probably looking at 2-hour-long live streams.
Robert Indeed Geek is joining us on Wednesday.
Yes.
And then Friday, we will have a stream on my channel, which will not be Grand Northern Conspiracy. However, on Saturday, is it Euro-friendly time? Have we decided yet?
We haven't decided yet. We're still in
By the way, we are seeing the Euro-friendly times. People, we definitely see it. It's definitely going to happen. A Euro-friendly stream. We're going to make it happen. All right. It's been suggested by a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot. We have Carol Brown.
Hello.
Carol Brown. We have Mandoline, Daisy Kowalczykowski, Herb Coswell is in the chat. We have Nicola Santavia. Tubbs said he would be my Valentine. I accept. The Imagination Realm, Linda, George Turner, and many others. And it's funny. I want to mention something before we get into the next question, Gemma. You said in your spare time you try to enjoy as many things that aren't Game of Thrones. People, I love you all, but sometimes you approach me when you ask me, I get asked 40 Thrones questions a day, and I'm sometimes I'm just I'm just try to hold it together, Kyle. And but I still love you, is what I'm trying to say. So you guys are passionate. I will say that. What's the next question? So thank you, Donna, for that question from Patreon. Andrew Burnett, with Bran not completing his training with Bloodraven, what evidence do we have that suggests he could defeat the Night King either in the Realm or the Weirnet? Did he? I mean, he mostly completed his training.
No, he didn't. No,
that's right. That's
Bloodraven
right.
literally said, I can't remember the exact quotation, but he said, "But am I ready?" And Bloodraven, or Three-Eyed Crow, Raven, whatever, said no.
Bran is not the Night King. Let's start off with that.
Bran is not the Night King. We'll start there.
But Gemma, no, seriously, I agree. He still has a final discovery, something else to learn. George is doing this for a very specific reason in the story. Each character has something they have to understand in the end. And I think for Bran, he is someone that he may be one of the few people that actually understands the real truth of what happened.
I was talking at length about this very question, amongst other things that surround this area, the Bran thing, with Robert from Indeed Geek last week. That's a video that's up on his channel. It's like a podcast that we did. It's actually proving quite popular. But we kind of
a big deal.
We kind of summarize that George, and you will agree, I know you will, Kyle, that George R. R. Martin does things in threes. You regularly say this. We've said, if we look at this kind of the hints of Bran's powers and what he has the potential or not to do, the first hint we saw in the books was when he whispers in the Godswood in the past, and Ned hears him and he says Winterfell, and Ned turns around and says, Who was that? And then in the show, they kind of did their own version of that with the Tower of Joy when Bran shouts his father and Ned turns around. So that was that was strike one, okay, of the potential of what Bran can do. And then we were looking, well, what's strike two then? And strike two is Hodor, which means Hodor was not the main event. Hodor was the prequel to the main event. I cannot at this point imagine anything more mind-blowing than Hodor. But Robert and I surmise that there has to be a third.
Right? Which is crazy because I'm actually in agreement here with you, Gemma. You might be onto something where Dan and Dave, for the show, they learned about Shireen's burning at the stake. They learned about Hodor, hold the door. But what is the third thing? I still think it involves Bran.
It has to.
It has to.
And we've talked about this several times and theorized on it, Kyle. And that I really think that it's going to be Bran warging into that plane into the Night's King's head. And I'm a huge fan of the theory that we spitballed back and forth and you ran with that night. Well, it went on for like 2 days, but Kyle literally slept zero during this 48-hour stretch trying to figure out this mystery that he had discovered. And ultimately that Arya is going to have to kill Bran with the Catspaw dagger, and Jon is going to have to simultaneously kill the Night's King. And I think that's a very distinct possibility at that point, because it's mind-blowing the fact that he can, one, warg into human beings on multiple planes of time. And this is just the next caveat to it. Like you said, this is the third.
What's really interesting about this is that Bran in the first season was meant to be killed by that blade. So essentially, him not being killed by that blade in the first season only prolonged the amount of time before that actually was supposed to happen, which is quite ironic.
And it very quintessentially goes back to some of the first lessons that we learn when magic comes into play, right? Is that only death can pay for life. So his death is ultimately going to pay for everybody else's life. He's going to turn into a Jesus type figure in that moment because he is paying for everybody else to live.
And what's really interesting too is that the thing about in the show, I'm not sure if this is going to happen in the books like that. Gemma hasn't watched Harry Potter, but me and you have spoke about this.
Yeah.
Him being touched by the Night King and Harry Potter, like Voldemort separating himself into how many Horcruxes? Was there 7 in total?
7, but Harry was 8.
So Voldemort separated his soul into 7 pieces, physical objects, so that he could be immortal. Right. So the Night King, realizing that he either has to die in his current state because he's been stuck there for that amount of time, or die trying because he's tired of being in that state, still gets the same result, which is crazy. Right. So he either gets to turn back time or whatever, or he dies, and which is incredibly bittersweet if you ask me. I don't know if we'll get to see if he had a loving family or anything like that, but we've kind of discussed that on the stream.
If Bran does die, do you think his last words will be "the things I do for love"?
Oh God, I'd love it if it was.
Me too.
You know what's crazy is if you go now, I'm not the only person to speak about this, by the way. I do present it in my God's Eye video where I do think that Bran. And in the show specifically, he gave Arya the Catspaw dagger for a very specific reason. He said it was meant to be used on a cripple.
Yep.
Which means it still can be used on a cripple. He gave it to Arya. But I think that what's really interesting is that Arya having her journey, Bran handing it to Arya means that he knows that he can count on her to make that decision.
Yes.
I thought the quote was "wasted on a cripple," which wasted on a cripple has many meanings outside of used on, or one of them is included as used on.
If you look at the alternate suggestions of how you could interpret that, it means used, yeah, with the way you described it.
Paige Roberts in the chat, in response to the things I do for love quote, she's put maybe Arya's last words to Bran will be that would be rather poignant.
Oh God, that'd be
now the other interesting alternate side of it is that Jaime Lannister is the person that does this.
Yeah.
Because he would spare Arya from doing this, and it would come full circle to what actually happened with Bran being pushed out of the tower, right? So really, really insane if you think about it, but possible. I mean, if there's gonna be something like that comes full circle where history is repeating itself, certainly where we see it reflected within a different character and somebody else is experiencing or saying the same thing that someone else said. So I think George does that a lot within the story, like Gemma I spoke about. And anyways, we have only answered 4. I think that's the 4th question, but that's kind of where we're at.
And I have some questions for the chat as well, if you want me to.
Yeah, let's switch it up. And by the way, big shout out to Rick Hoppy in the chat. Amazing guy. I'm going to start throwing out titles for all of the awesome people that send me stuff in the mail. Grand Maester of Coffee. He sent me 3 pounds of Ethiopian Yirgachef, which is the best coffee I've ever had. So, Rick, you are now pronounced the Grand Maester of Coffee.
I love it. That's hilarious. That means we have a Grand Maester of Blankets, too.
Yes.
Nancy Talkstein.
Yes, Miss Nancy T.
Queen of Blankets.
And I think it's safe to say that we can call Morley and PJ the Iron Bank. We'll put them in together.
Absolutely, and they will always have their due.
The 2 pillars. We love you, ladies. Go ahead, Gemma. Let's do some trivia.
Yeah, these I'm not going to lie, these are pretty shit. But I was bought.
Oh, tell your sad story.
My sad story goes like this. No, violins, please, cue. I was bought the Game of Thrones trivia game, the board game, 2 years ago. Very excited. What a lovely, thoughtful gift from my family, none of whom will play it with me.
Oh, rude.
None of my friends, none of my family. I go, oh, should we play the Game of Thrones trivia game, everyone? No. So these questions have just been left redundant in a drawer, and I was having a spring clean today, and I found them again and thought, well, we're doing Q&A. Why don't we throw some Q&As at you? But some of these questions are a bit questionable. Okay.
Gemma asked me one earlier, and I actually got it wrong, and I was so embarrassed. It was so bad. I'm like,
oh, really? I went 100% on all the ones I got.
Oh, shut up.
You both got the questions wrong, actually. I think.
Yeah, no, I messed when I went, oh, no, shit, it was Cersei.
You both overthought it. Now, I will make it very clear. Go for the obvious answer here, guys, okay?
Yeah, there is no hidden meaning in these, trust me.
No, this is not any more complicated than it needs to appear. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this one is from season 2. The serving hall in Harrenhal is referred to by what name?
Sorry, say that again.
The serving hall in Harrenhal is referred to by what name?
I don't freaking remember.
You must do. It's again. It's the obvious one.
The serving hall?
Like the big hall, the one with all the fireplaces.
I don't know. I am so bad today. Actually, every time that we get one wrong, we have to take a drink.
Is it the Black Hall?
No.
Damn it.
Harrenhal. Oh, it's Harrenhal.
Sophie's got it. Something about 100 hearts. Yes, well done, Sophie. The Hall of 100 Hearts. There we go.
Oh.
Let me find an easier one.
JR, take a drink.
Yeah, I just did. Yeah, I hit that one. Yeah, here. Solancha.
Okay, this is an easy one.
I was going to say Harrenhal, like I'm like, Heron the Black?
That's why I'm thinking Black Hall. You got me with that one. I was like, oh, shit, was it Black Hall?
This is going to be
it's the 100 Hearts because it was so damn big.
This is an easy peasy one, okay? And I want you to both say this on 3. And it's a multiple choice.
I thought you were going to be asking the chat these questions, not us.
I am, and I'm asking everybody, and so far they're beating you. So, you know, and you've got the opportunity of reply. They have to type it, and they're still winning. So come on, guys.
By the way,
Okay.
we're saving all super chat questions. We're not. So, Donna, Sword in the Darkness, we got you.
Okay, this is multiple choice, so I'm going to give you 3, and you're going to pick one of those 3. Which of these knights was never a member of the Kingsguard? Was it Sir Barristan Selmy? Was it Sir Duncan the Tall? Or Sir Roderick Cassell?
Roderick Cassell, come on.
Wow, that's such a bad question.
That's an awful question.
But like, if anybody gets that wrong, they should like put them like, what's that one zone in the Thor movie? Like that zone, what's it called? That like you get exiled there from the actual universe. Something zone. You should go there.
Phantom Zone.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, there you go. Do we want another one? One more for good measure, and then I'll put these in the bin or something.
People are saying so hard in the chat. That's a little bit inappropriate.
Okay, so we'll let the chat answer this one. Let me find one that's not stupid, because I some of these questions I've questioned. Go, no, that's not quite right, actually. Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh God.
Okay, it's multiple choice, guys. So answer 1, 2, or 3. Who does Davos Seaworth claim as his god? Is it 1, Stannis Baratheon? Is it 2, the Red God? Or is it 3, the Old Gods?
I believe it's Stannis.
You're not in the chat.
We weren't supposed to answer that.
Oh,
That was for the chat only.
But you're right. It was.
wow. Chat, I'm deleted.
The chat. Yeah, you're not allowed on your streams anymore.
It's Ashley, you're fine. I was trolling you, but chat, you're mostly right after I've announced it.
The chat, we're all over it. Well done.
Rick says I'm going to end up in the Phantom Zone. Sorry, Rick. Your delicious cappuccinos will not be enjoyed by anyone anymore. Let's get back to some questions because we answered like four so far. We are super behind, which is not good. Don't worry, this is a lengthy stream. No, not 5 hours. Next question, anime lover Nicole. What will happen to the Night's Watch at the end of season 8? I think it will be gone like the Wall, and Sam will marry Gilly and give her more babies. Well, I'm going to go first on this one and be a little bit. I'm just going to go first and say that the Wall will not be completely gone. We only saw a part of it gone. I don't know if the whole wall, like, it's such a massive structure. I don't know.
300 miles. And that was not 300
right,
miles.
it's like knocking out a section of the Great Wall of China and worrying about the rest of it. It's not a thing. Where it broke, and that's just East Watch by the sea.
In the book,
very eastern end. There was still probably around 298 miles of wall still in.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that in the books, the horn of winter is going to actually probably affect the wall inadvertently. Someone's going to blow it, or something's going to happen like that. I think it will be similar. I don't know if it will be at Eastwatch, but I think that we are gonna the wall. It absolutely has to fall for there to be a final conflict.
I really want the wall. I was kind of disappointed with how the wall came down in the show. I'm not going to lie. I wanted something apocalyptic.
Like everybody hearing it?
Everybody. I wanted like a montage of every single person across Westeros and Eastwatch hearing it and stopping and looking and feeling, and the closer, like the reverberations. I wanted something. This is 700 foot tall.
Like the horns of Armageddon are sounding everywhere.
This is the biggest Chekhov's gun I've ever seen in a
right
ever.
Yeah.
And we need it to be massive when that comes down. That needs to be a heart-stopping, like reverberating through the entire known world scenario. For me, Viserion giving it and some blue. Yeah.
No, that's a good. That's not a dragon. But JR, go ahead.
Yeah, I only think it affected a small section of the wall, actually. So the rest of it's still up.
But none of that actually answers the question, to be fair, does it?
So what will happen with the Night's Watch and Sam?
I think there'll still be a need for the Night's Watch, and I think either Jaime or Jorah, depending on who lives, will become the 1000th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
They're both going to die, so neither of that will happen.
You don't know that shit for sure.
I'm with JR. I'm with you, JR.
Those are the most well-liked thoughts on the matter, I would think, that most people seem to come to the conclusion on. I don't think there's going to be a need for the Night's Watch anymore, because the breaking of the wall and the melting down of the Iron Throne is the breaking of the wheel for both wheels, because there's this bigger wheel and this smaller wheel. So I think that there's not going to be a need for the Night's Watch anymore, because the North is just going to be the North. It's not going to be the North, the wall, and then the lands of always winter. It's just going to be the North. But I get it. Jaime would. I like the sentiment behind it. Jaime, I think that if he did survive, I think he is 1000% dying. I think there is a 0% chance that Jaime Lannister survives the story. So I can't agree with you guys just based on that.
I think he's got 5% plot armor in the books.
I think he is. I mean, he's a great character, but he is destined to die.
I think it's more likely to be Jorah, as per Geor's
final request. Yeah,
but
I don't necessarily really disagree with it.
But I don't know. I could see Jorah. Show wise, he had some really interesting interactions with Jon Snow. And I think that if Jon was in danger and it came down to him or Jon living, he would protect Jon or Daenerys for that matter. So I think that Jorah has a higher chance of perishing. I don't know if that's the case in the books, but for sure the show, I don't.
If it is Jorah, an interesting thought. I think he'll release all of the brothers that are remaining of the Night's Watch, the proper Night's Watch that was. I think he'll release them all from their vows because of how they were forced into service. Is kind of like slavery, right? In a sense, not all the way, criminals and everything, but freeing like Daenerys did and seeing the benefit of what she did and collecting an all-volunteer force to man the wall, but not putting them under the same oath. I could see that as kind of the breaking of the wheel.
Not to get too political or religious, the other day it was announced that the Catholic Church had this huge scandal that there was nuns that were kept as sex slaves. And that was something that was revealed to be, it's incredibly damaging. There's been all of these different I apologize if I'm offending anyone. I'm not taking a particular stance on this. I'm just announcing what has been announced. I could see what you're saying, JR, the fact that they aren't able to get married, these certain things that have already been established as rules get dissolved, and we see a different type of precedent set for the future, just as we won't see the hereditary type of monarchy established in King's Landing.
Right, and they're breaking wheels all over the place, right?
Yeah,
we've talked about that. Like, you like to bring up the big and small wheel, which is totally true. I think it just fits into a piece of that if it comes to pass.
So that's kind of how I see it. I don't think there's going to be a need for the wall, because I'm not saying that magic will 100% be gone, because I think there'll still be some ambiguity about it. I think that we will sense Bran or something, but I think the White Walkers and the dragons are 100% gone. So I don't think that there's necessarily going to be a need for, I understand the whole history repeats itself thing. And that's been, discussed to death, but
right. Yeah, I agree with you. And Maria K, that is a great question. We're going to address that in 1 second before we jump into questions from GeekChat1, which Kyle has so graciously sent over to me.
I'm going to grab a glass of water, JR, so you take over.
Okay.
Can I just play devil's advocate on the question that you were talking about?
Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
We keep talking about this breaking of the wheel, and this isn't necessarily what I think. This is literally me being devil's advocate, just wanting to slip this idea in. you know, and the assumption is that this wheel is going to be broke. What if that's the whole point? Is this not George R. R. Martin's style to show that this cycle needs to be broken, this wheel needs to be broken, they need to stop repeating the same mistakes? What if that's exactly what they do? Just go back and do it all over again. What is that quote? Is it George Santayana? That's our friend. It's similar, very similar. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Repeat it, yes.
You know, what if that's kind of the bittersweet, is that they kind of do win, but they're kind of doomed to just do it all over again because they've learned nothing.
That would be entirely sad if they learned absolutely nothing from this giant struggle that is going on in all of Westeros. I mean, this is like a mission for all mankind at this point, right?
But
I mean, this is like Armageddon.
If the long night has already happened and they're doing it all over again, does that not suggest they learned nothing last time?
You know, I think you and Robert managed to convince quite a fair amount of people the other night to quite the opposite. So your persuasive skills precede you, and that is going to be fake news, Gemma. Sorry.
Wow.
You heard that correct.
Wow.
Before we jump into the rest of the questions, a bunch of them from GeekChat1 from everybody on there. So thank you for putting in those questions, and thank you, Kyle, for sending them. Maria K asked in the chat at all of us, and specifically named all three of us, how will you guys watch the premiere? Viewing party or solo, so no one talks over the dialogue? What are you guys doing?
So announcement, JR, we are doing an after show. All three of us will be part of all 6 episodes, which will be split across 2 channels, mine and Gemma's. We're not going to announce the schedule yet because we want to make sure that you'll learn. I mean, Gemma, did you actually?
I've totally announced the schedule.
Oh wow, yeah,
Gemma, it's already happened. I was like,
2 weeks ago. So.
Gemma,
cat's out of the bag on that one.
Gemma literally okay. Let's just take this for example. I'm gonna throw some shade at Gemma here. I try to organize shit, okay, but like she wanted to organize a whole season's worth of shit in one day, okay. But when it comes to one day of organizing shit, it takes Gemma, please help.
I am what you might refer to as all or nothing.
You're such a pleb.
I know the absolute type because I'm the exact same way. Strike when the iron's hot. It's the idea now. This is the most important thing at this exact moment. We need to get it done right now, and we can deal with everything else afterwards. Because I do the same thing.
Carol, thanks for the donation. We have some other donations, some shout outs. We're saving those questions for the Q&A period.
Okay,
Carol
so
Brown.
How are you watching that? How you need to answer the question though, Kyle. How are you watching? See, she didn't answer. We keep doing this.
So how am I doing this? I will be watching it here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, in the lands of always winter. Well, it won't be winter when I watch it. I will be watching it here. I would love to go to Chicago to watch it with our friends that have an amazing spot, Gemma. But unfortunately, I have to be intelligent about how I manage my money. So Con of Thrones and Dragon Con are the 2 conventions I've chose to go to this year, with a possibility of maybe World Con in Ireland. That's a far maybe. So I'm going to be watching it here in Sault Ste. Marie. There's more and more of my friends that have enjoyed Game of Thrones. So I'll probably watch it with my family or friends here where I'm at.
I will be watching it on my own in my darkened living room at 2 a.m. because they actually in England they show Game of Thrones it's on television at the same time that it airs in the US, which happens to be 2 a.m. here. They then air it again at 9 p.m. on the Monday, but obviously there's no way I'm waiting till 9 p.m. on Monday to watch it. So I will be watching it at 2 a.m. in the morning. It will finish around 3:15 a.m.
And then we'll go live.
And then I will be going live for approximately 2 hours, and I will finally retire to bed at about 5:30 in the morning. Good times. I'm going to be knackered.
And that is the commitment that Gemma has to our Sparkle Motion Party.
By the way, everyone, life of a content creator during a season like Game of Thrones.
Yep.
You want to know how much coffee is consumed and how much sleep you actually get? Gemma messaged me when she's like, Kyle, are you going to bed yet? I'd been up for like 2 days.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. That's just how it rolls. That's just how you got to rock it. JR.
I'll be watching it in Las Vegas and then promptly going live with you guys on both respective channels, depending on the day it is. And that schedule is already posted into GeekChat1. For those of you who don't know this, you can go to the events section now, and that's where everybody's going to be posting their live streams or premieres. The only thing that will still go on the main thread in GeekChat1 will be regular video releases, so edited videos.
So
what you can expect from us is it will be, we'll do 2 episodes a week. One will be straight after the episode airs, and then the second will be on the Wednesday, where we will discuss the trailer for the next upcoming episode, and we'll alternate that. That's why the schedule's been posted in Geek Chat. If you want the link for that, let us know and on Geek Chat, and we'll kind of bring it back up to the forefront. But it will feature us 3, Kyle, JR, and myself, in every single one of those episodes. But every episode we'll invite somebody else. We've got a few people lined up. We've got Johnny Be Crazy lined up. We've got Robert, of course, from In Deep Geek. We've asked LML. There's a few other people that
I got someone that you guys will really be excited about. I can't really say so.
Oh.
So,
well, it's really anticlimactic now, isn't it? And Lauren's Corner is going to be one of the guests on. But I can't remember who else was locked in.
Living Rhapsody's coming on with us as well.
LMR, yes, that's right.
But by the way, everyone, so we have six episodes. So we have 3 on Gemma's channel. I believe that Gemma, you have episodes 1, 3, and 5. So you have the premiere, Battle of Winterfell, and apparently the Battle of King's Landing, which is
I wouldn't know what they're called because I don't look at spoilers, Mr.
Yeah,
Foster.
and I got the finale, which Gemma so graciously asked if I wanted the finale or the premiere. I chose the finale because I'm going to be a little crybaby. Let's be honest about it. World's smallest violin playing. I mean, all of us are going to be so sad. It's going to be like a cry fest. Okay.
But then after that, we're still going on from the Wednesday afterwards.
Yes.
And that won't be, obviously, we can't talk about the trailer for next week's because it'll be finished. That will be like, we'll have our initial shock reaction immediately after the episode, but then we'll have a couple of days to kind of digest events, and then we'll come on and then we'll really have
like a final thoughts over what has transpired in these 8 seasons. I mean, this is kind of going to be the culmination of all of them. And then as a one-time only for the season 8 events, the Sunday following what would be the next episode of Game of Thrones when there is no more. So exactly 1 week after the end of Game of Thrones, we're going to do a special that's going to be on GeekChat1 in place of Game of Thrones being on.
And that's going to be on the 26th of May, right?
That is, 26th May.
Special about that day that anybody can think of?
I don't know. I seem to recall.
Gemma, isn't that your birthday? Isn't that your birthday?
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
And
it's my birthday.
And it will be a Con of Thrones 2018 reunion.
It will be the 1 year since Con of Thrones.
That's actually what it was. Gemma asked me if I would host her birthday stream on GeekChat1 and bring everybody that was at Con last year together for a little bit of memory. And at that point, we'll basically be 45, 50 days away from Con of Thrones 2019. So it's a good lead into going into con season for us, and it'll be a great time. But we'll be hosting that on GeekChat1.
It's kind of crazy because Con of Thrones last year was on Gemma's birthday, and
Correct.
Con of Thrones is exactly 6 days after my birthday, or like a week after my birthday.
This year, so Con of Thrones last year was on my birthday, and Con of Thrones this year is not on your birthday. Is that what you're saying, Kyle?
That's exactly what he said.
Anyways, rude.
I thought he was going to say rude.
We got some more questions. Linda, who is we so kindly shouted out earlier for the Funko Pops and the generosity. She said, "Is Boat Sex 2.0 happening at Con of Thrones this year?" Yes.
They've already been in discussion. It's hilarious.
Yes, it's actually being discussed.
Well, we've actually discussed whole scenes that are going to happen.
Yep.
Ashaya from History of Westeros is going to be involved in the filming process. There's going to be other people like Gemma and JR. They're going to be dressed up as like guys. We're doing like a whole sitcom on this. So, yes, that's happening, Linda. Also, your favorite and least favorite character still alive in the show. I'm just going to do, let's just go with favorite. My favorite character still alive in the show is the Hound. Come on.
The Hound died. That moniker is dead. Now, if you're talking about Sandor Clegane, I absolutely know who you're speaking of.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Go ahead.
So what the question is, my favorite character that's still alive on the show.
And least, yeah.
Oh. Least is, I don't really have a least favorite character because even the characters you kind of meant to dislike, I enjoy for different reasons. If that makes it, I don't know if that's a cop out, but that's I'm kind of where I don't.
Dislike it totally is. Yeah.
But my favorite, although he's rapidly not becoming, I'm starting to fall out of love with him on the show. But certainly my book favorite's Tyrion Lannister.
Mine is always in normal is still Davos Seaworth.
That's fair. Least favorite. I mean, it's so hard to choose. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with everyone, so I can't really say there's a least favorite, but
that's kind of where I'm at. It's I don't even the characters are supposed to dislike. I still enjoy them. I don't. Oh, I hate that character. I don't hate any of them. They all have something to bring to the table, don't they?
So we're gonna answer this one quickly. We got to get into some questions here. We're already an hour in.
Well, we knew this was going to go a little bit longer because it's a Friday night stream. So
we still have another hour. We're good.
We're prepared. Can I address something in chat really quick?
Sure.
Who was it? I'm trying to find the name again. Girl Nettles. This is all purely speculation. This has nothing to do with spoilers. We don't do spoilers on any one of our channels, actually. We talk about reading into the material and understanding the way that the story is being presented. This is purely speculation. None of this is spoilers. It's an endless pile of possibilities that can happen. So I hope you understand that there's a big difference between spoilers coming from the show and contemplating on the possibilities that can happen. So sorry, that was my just one piece there.
Which is exactly why sometimes we disagree, right, guys?
But that's exactly why we disagree.
And we are, I believe, 20 likes away from 100. So 162 people watching. If you are enjoying this content, of course, please subscribe to the channel. There will be more of this. If you like this video, of course, my compatriots, Secrets of the Citadel and GeekChat1, their links are in the description of this video, especially GeekChat1. We are trying to get him monetized, J.R. Rowley. So links in the description of this video if you want to subscribe to their YouTube channels. Also, GeekChat1 on Facebook is where we do most of our polls. A lot of the different questions you will see here in the live stream. So lots of different polls, event pages that are made. We talk about Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire, Expanse, Marvel, all of that on GeekChat1. And you can find the link in the description of this video. So all the links to other content creators that you will see featured on the stream. And if you want to support this channel, Patreon, all of that in the description of this video. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Let's get back into some more questions. Stephen Ryder, I have an idea that Arya will be the one to kill Cersei wearing the face of Littlefinger. Did she cut his throat, his face in prime shape? He has inside business with Cersei. Do you think this is possible? I'm going to answer this quickly for myself. No.
Gemma?
No. Because, I mean, from a purely logistical standpoint, that would mean that Aidan Gillen would have to come back to play Arya disguised as Littlefinger, and it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case. I don't know that 100% either way. I don't look at the casting or the filming or any of that. I want minimal spoilers. But what I am aware of is that Aidan Gillen is currently filming other things. I know he has other commitments.
Peaky Blinders.
They might have brought him in as a cameo. I don't know, but I think logistically, I can't see it happening.
And I'm with that one too. I don't think Aidan Gillen's coming back. I think if it's going to be somebody and it's going to be a face use, it's more than likely going to be Jaime's. It just kind of stands to reason. But we appreciate that question, Stephen. Another one from Las Vegas, which is
one thing I do want to mention is I mentioned this in the last live stream we did. If Arya is going to take a face, it's going to be the Handmaiden. I saw Sansa have her period, and also saw Cersei and Jaime in bed in the show specifically. Sorry, go ahead, JR.
Oh, no worries. I was good. I was just going to grab the next question from Susan, unless you wanted to read it.
You are taking over.
Okay. Miss Susan Dunkel, another member of GeekChat1. There must be one final pyre to love. I have my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours.
Yeah, there has to be a mount, a betrayal, and a pyre, all for love, according to the prophecy of the House of the Undying, Daenerys' prophecies. We've seen all of the others. Well, arguably, you know, we could fit things to the two preceding of each of those things. So there's 9 in total. So yeah, we have a fire for love, a pyre, or a mount. The mount for love, I think we saw in that boat. I think the betrayal for love, everybody assumes
was the dragon. What was the fighting pits a marine?
Do you think? I'm not sure if we've seen again. We can find things that maybe we think fit.
That loosely fit.
And that's suggestive of not just a fire, but specifically a funeral fire, a fire for love. So somebody will die for love, which could fit with the betrayal for love. I don't know. I think by the time we're done, we'll probably have a few examples of something that might fit if we so wanted to kind of shove it into that hole, so to speak. But there'll also be other things that we can argue about. A lot of people think Daenerys is going to die either in childbirth or she will be some kind of Nyssa sacrifice, and Jon will choose duty over love, and because he's done this before, and all this kind of stuff. So this could be a betrayal for love, and ultimately, if she dies, the Targaryen ritual is.
Well, let me ask a follow-up question, Gemma.
Okay.
Do you think at any point that it's acceptable for Jon to divert from his path and choose love over duty?
No.
Do you think that's totally counterintuitive to the character arc that's been built by George R. R. Martin?
Jon is specifically. Okay. Jon has specifically, he is the chosen one when it comes to, like, how many characters can we actually count on our hands that are specifically doing things for the good of the realm?
Jon's entire theme from day dot was, it was originally a theme that was established in Ned's story, duty/honor over love. It was Aemon's speech. It's the kill the boy speech. Jon's theme from the second that character was introduced right up to the current day in both book and show is duty and love over honor. He's had to do it before with Ygritte. He's had to do it with Corin Halfhand. He had to do it with Rob when he found out what had happened. He had to do it when he found out Ned had been killed. He chose duty every time, and I cannot see any reason why he would suddenly be so besotted with Daenerys. He was besotted with Ygritte. He loved his brother.
Here's the thing, though, Gemma.
It's not going to change.
Here's the thing, though. In the House of the Undying vision in the show, Daenerys resists the temptation of everything that's going on. She goes beyond the wall and she sees Drogo and what is assumed to be Rhaego in that tent. And she hears the cries of her dragons and she leaves all of that. Right? She never touches the throne. Right?
There is an interesting possibility that this final betrayal/pyre/mount will not be somebody betraying Daenerys, but she being the betrayer.
What's really interesting about this is that if you look at Daenerys's goals, and what she's done, I mean, yeah, she has freed a lot of slaves. She has done some questionable things when it comes to achieving her goals. And and what's really
very
interesting,
much an understatement.
and what's really interesting though is that if we look in the show, at least, she submitted to what Jon was about when Jon said he would bend the knee. She actually submitted to him. He didn't, like, he said he would bend the knee, but she submitted to his idea of fighting for the realm of men. So I think what's really interesting about all of this is that we can kind of have a mix-up of their destinies, maybe perhaps switching, which the Song of Ice and Fire, the title of the whole series, perhaps in the end, we have a little switcheroo of what actually happens with them. But I do think that Daenerys, if there is one of them to die, and I think it's possible that both of them actually die, and that Tyrion and Sansa are the ones that push forward with their child, I think it's Daenerys. Just based on the evidence that we've seen. I could be wrong, but it's and if you
it is a looming possibility.
And if you
very much so.
And if you look at who Jon has considered his father to be, Ned Stark, and who he will find out his father actually is. Ned chose duty. Rhaegar chose love. Who does he associate himself with?
Ned.
He does. I think it's going to be in the middle. I don't think Jon's going to make a choice, and I think it's going to fucking happen regardless. So I think it's going to be extremely difficult. I think that Daenerys is going to die, and it's going to suck for him, but he's still going to melt down the Iron Throne, which was Daenerys' goal to sit on in the end. So there is this conversation in this question. We could literally go on forever about this. I love it.
Sorry, Girl Nettles is just one comment of the evening. Hit the like button or end up like Reek. Reek, it rhymes with fleek.
It's hilarious.
Smokahontas, you missed quite a lot. We've only answered about 4 questions. But...
yeah, unfortunately, we've only answered
all right
4. But
JR, continue with the GeekChat1 question.
Absolutely can do that. Let's see, what do we got? Miss Maura Lee, big supporter of both your guys' channels, would like to know, where is Uncle Benjen in the books? Will we see him again?
Yes.
Am I allowed my one swear? I think I already used it.
No, I don't think you have yet. I think you got your one swear still.
I'm drinking whiskey live.
I missed the swear. What?
I said fuck knows.
Fuck no, he's gone.
George R. R. Martin threw a whole spanner in this cold hands theory thing, because in his notes to his editor, and I'm sure everybody's seen the page, and his editor says, "Is this Benjen?" And he replies, "No." It's not like George R. R. Martin hasn't lied about this shit before, okay? I am still on the cold hands thing, and the show kind of confirmed that, to be fair.
They did indeed.
I just can't see any other... I don't know. He's either just gone, that's it, he's dead. And that would be a bit pointless, but, you know, we've had pointless deaths in Game of Thrones before.
More than a few.
Yeah, but if I had to put my money on it, he is cold hands.
All right, makes sense. And by the way, thank you everybody for the super chats that's coming in. Midnight Predator, we are getting to those as soon as we finish up these questions. So
reach out, Midnight Predators, because it's not a question. No questions. Just wanted to say love you guys and thanks for all your time. I learned so much about the series from you guys. Thanks, guys. Yay!
Yay! Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't read. I just started copying and pasting so I could throw it over as I was talking over it. You know, because that's how we do things sometimes. And please tell me I didn't close my actual window for... No, I didn't. Excellent. Okay. As I do the shuffle around of my 9 million windows and tabs I have open. All right, there we go. Robbie Meeson. Is Kinvara a show-only character? I'm only halfway through A Song of Ice and Fire, and I don't believe she's been mentioned. She could help bring over the fiery hand?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, the fiery hand is like the R'hllor's version of the Faith Militant, I suppose, like the military, the warriors of R'hllor. They were slaves. Kinvara, I mean, as far as I'm aware, the actress, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think what actually happened with Kinvara, she's not a book character. We've got Mokoro represents, so we do have other priests, but Kinvara apparently, and like I said, could be wrong, the actress apparently leaked some of the script during the season that she was in, and they promptly fired her. That's why I've never seen her again. And yes, Geordie Jedi, she was damn hot.
I mean, yeah, I mean, she was, I believe, I can't remember her actual name. She was a former model, if I believe. I can't remember.
Anyway, she got shit canned because she leaked information on the internet, and boom, that's it. We have no more Kinvara.
Yeah.
So she basically broke the NDA contract, non-disclosure agreement contract. So that's what happens when you play the game of leaks.
Who is the high priest in the books in Volantis? Is that revealed?
No.
I don't think we have a name.
There's no name.
It's Mokoro is the only other. Thoros of Mir, Melisandre, and Mokoro, and questionably Quaithe has tie-ins.
Yeah, a lot of people think that Quaithe could be that type of character. Yeah.
All right. Miss Amanda Demuth asks the question, who is also known as the Disputed Lands, if you guys don't know. Amanda is on GeekChat1 with all of us and likes to throw in little tidbits here and there. Do you think Arya could steal a White Walker face with her Valyrian steel dagger?
0% chance.
Gemma.
But Amanda, I want to say, before I get absolutely crucified for this, I love all of your content, and you are awesome. However, I don't think it makes any sense. Wouldn't the Night King just detect her? I don't know.
Maybe she could do like a Shaun of the Dead thing where she pretends to be dead. I really wanted to see Beric and Jon do that when they went beyond the wall, because obviously Beric and Jon are dead.
Well, maybe you'll still get your wish, and you will see Tormund and Beric limping themselves in the army of the dead back to.
I think we're more likely to see Hodor.
No,
God, it's too soon. Still too soon.
I didn't mean to throw salt in that wound, but
I don't think I could handle that. I don't think I could handle that. But I'm with you, Kyle. I'm not really sure what taking a White Walker's face would achieve.
Could she do it? Sure, she's so OP. Why not, Amanda? She could do it. She asked if she could do it, not if she would. If she could. And so I'll say yes. Yes, Amanda, she could, because why not? She's so OP in the show that it's ridiculous. So that's my take on it. Don't get me wrong, I love Arya, and I love Maisie Williams.
We got one more Geek Chat 1 question, then we're opening it up to the floodgates. That is the chat. We got some donation questions.
We do have donation questions, yeah.
And then we have... We're going to get to all of those, and then we're going to have time left over for Q&A.
Absolutely.
Carlisa says, I know they mentioned we will see Ghost, but do you think there will be scenes with Ghost and Nymeria together? I think we're seeing Ghost 100%, but JR, I mean, I don't think we're seeing Ghost and Nymeria together. I don't know.
Yeah, and Carlista, thank you for joining. And she's one of the newer members of GeekChat1, so thank you for joining our little chat on Facebook. And I'm with you. I just don't see it happening. So it's a no from me.
Kind of spoke about this one last week when we did Direwolves. I think Nymeria, as far as the show is concerned, is done. I think the scene that we saw with Arya, no, that's not you. It was a tying up of a loose end as the story tapers towards the rapid point that we're going to be achieving in season 8. I think Nymeria is done. But yeah, I think we'll see Ghost again, but I don't think there'll be any Direwolf porn.
By the way, if you do like this sort of style of content, this kind of format, you can support the channel on Patreon, where you get your questions to the front of the line, or you can join GeekChat1, where you can post your questions for the stream, where we often pull the best questions. We answer them here in the stream. So thank you so much for everyone that was a participant of that. And thank you to everyone who has supported me and Gemma on Patreon. We really, really appreciate that. We're now going to get into the super chat questions. We always consider, of course, the questions in the comment section, any that are left over that we don't get to. And tomorrow, me and JR are actually going to be recording a podcast, the podcast of Bronze and Iron that me and JR started a long time ago, that we are rekindling now that we are closer to the season, that will air on Sunday. So we're going to be answering some of this stuff. We're talking some of these subjects that y'all have been mentioning in the chat. So, but the next question that we actually got, JR, the Flesh Weasel. This is a book question. Will Brienne give Jaime to Lady Stoneheart?
Book question. Will that actually transpire? Yeah, something's got to happen there. I think that, yes, she will. I don't think she's going to risk not being able to save Jaime when it happens. So I think it's a yes.
We've spoken about this a few times. I don't think Jaime's arc ends there. So
no, I think he's got too much to do.
Too much to do. I think that both Brienne and Jaime survived that encounter. Thank you very much, Flesh Weasel. Gemma, your thoughts on this is a book only question from Flesh Weasel. And this has to do with Jaime Lannister and Brienne. What do you think about will Brienne give Jaime to Lady Stoneheart?
No.
So no on that. Thank you very much for Flesh Weasel. Donna Daly.
100% sure that they're both coming out of that scenario alive, though.
Yeah,
at this point, I obviously I want them to. I cannot reconcile how that's going to happen. We'll see.
I'm in agreement with that. Next question, Donna Daly. I know this is probably really tinfoil other than Cersei being wrong about everything. Is there another reason to dismiss Tyrion as the valonqar? I mean, here's the thing. The way she treats Tyrion through his life and the way she interprets the valonqar prophecy leads her to be paranoid and believe that it is Tyrion. However, that puts on the blinders that it may be the person that is closest to her, which is Jaime, which we have discussed. Gemma.
Yeah, there is a complete possibility that it's Tyrion. I think the reason why, for me personally, and I think JR's kind of on the same wavelength as me, you can tell me if you are, is if we had to choose between the two, we're more likely to go Jaime purely because of the poetry. Okay, the circular.
Well, and it also has to do with Jaime's and Cersei's multiple comments of we came into this world together, we'll go out together. And so it's kind of that one of the smaller circles like Kyle talks about. It's a breaking of that cycle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, we can't rule out the possibility that it could be Tyrion. I mean, it really could, to be fair, be equally either of them.
And what's interesting too is how Tyrion kills Shay is almost directly how Cersei thinks she's going to die.
Yes.
So that's
right with the chain of the hand, because it's not a pin in the book for those of you who don't know. It's actually a chain.
And then there's the whole logistics of how do you strangle somebody with one hand and a golden hand. I literally, as a Game of Thrones content creator, I have Googled if it's possible to strangle somebody with one hand in order to look into that theory.
Gemma's messaged me and we've discussed this at length.
The logistics, do you need to get both, or if you're strong enough, can you? I've literally researched this, and if you are strong enough, yes, it is possible, and it has been done in real world terms by serial killers.
It has, and I'll do this shameless plug right now. If you want to see my slightly tinfoil theory on how Cersei meets her demise in the neck, be looking for that on GeekChat1's channel. But Kyle, back to you.
I would like to give a shout out to the Super PAC on Patreon, which consists of Karen Richmond, Mr. Skillen, John Liebman in the chat, PJ of Ice and Fire, Rick Hoppy, Morley, Andrew Burnett, Katrin, and Aaron Habig. So
and I do have a couple of questions that Mr. Skillen had messaged to me privately because he wasn't sure where the thread went and he wanted to make sure to get those in there. But we'll get through these the super chats first.
Yeah, let's get through the super chats, and because we got to have a whole half an hour at least for the chat, because
absolutely,
at least super chats. We're gonna So Donna, thank you for the donation. Sword in the Darkness. Isn't the Catspaw dagger the same one that in the book that Sam was reading at the Citadel? Yes, it is the exact same. What will the this is kind of weirdly. Will what the book says about it be a reveal? I mean, we've kind of talked about this, that it's possibly Aegon the Conqueror's, the first Aegon the Conqueror's dagger, him being the person that installed the Iron Throne into Westeros. That being quite interesting, and Jon being named Aegon as well. It being passed to his sister, and Dark Sister being the blade that his sister Visenya had, kind of a substitution for that. We've talked about that.
That was the one I was going to talk about. Yeah, it's kind of the show's substitution for Dark Sister, which is an inherently Arya as a person, as her persona now. So that's it. Kind of is fitting for it, and I kind of like that one. Hello, AK. Good to see you in the chat. AU Pack Mule as well. Look at that. Everybody's popping in now.
Can I just apologize publicly to AU Pack Mule for accidentally messaging him last night drunk. Sorry.
He's not the only one.
Yeah, no, we all got lit up by Gemma.
You know how many notifications I had? 130 some.
Gemma built a fire, the largest one that the North has ever seen.
I may or may not have accidentally sent AU Pack Mule a random message saying, "Hey, I've just drunk 2 bottles of red wine." Awkward.
It was mildly entertaining, but we knew that you were planning on doing that anyway on Valentine's Day.
Next question. Yes. Thank you. We get some more super chat questions here that we got. Travis Michael, quick one. Fiery hand, yes or no? In season 8, yeah, it's 100% happening.
We actually discussed this one while you were off getting.
Oh, okay, so we did. Okay, next question then.
Yep, we did discuss that one.
We have Carol Brown. One of the ending scenes after the last dragon dies will either be of someone finding a clutch of 3 dragon eggs or eggs in the detritus of the Crypts of Winterfell. Do we think that there's going to be remaining dragon eggs? I'm gonna say that would be interesting, because I think the magic is going to be gone. There'll be some ambiguity about the possibility of it being revived, but I'm going to say no.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at the comments in the chat. 2 whole bottles. Yeah, last night while I was drunk, it was 2 whole bottles. This morning when I came in for all my...
This isn't the first time, by the way.
You know, when you have to apologize to all the people that you've messaged, it became two glasses in the morning. 2 glasses, yeah.
She couldn't even spell, which is whatever.
No, I don't think Dragon Eggs is going to be a thing. I think the last scene will either be the whole Sam is the writer, the whole Samwise Gamgee, Lord of the Rings kind of vibe, or I think it's going to be, for me, it's Bran. It has to end with Bran, because it began with Bran. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think there'll be another clutch of eggs found anywhere. It's just not one that it doesn't fit with the sort of narrative that's been built for us of breaking the wheels and coming about a new, like, this is like the Renaissance for Westeros, right? This is going to be the finding of science and everything going in the future. It's going to be the foundation of a modern society as we would know it, I suppose. So I think that's going to completely disappear and take away, unfortunately, all that magic that they had thought already disappeared.
I mean, I think we're pretty much on the same page. So yeah, Carol Brown, we love you. Excited to see you at Con of Thrones, of course. Marvin and Martin, who is also being incredibly generous. The last dragon was a green female. Last known dragon is a female Danny, who's named after Rhaegar. What was Rhaegar? So this the way you word this is a little bit confusing. Gemma,
okay, so the last dragon was a green female, and he's referring to the one during the reign of Aegon the Third. the Dragonbane, the small stunted dragon that was unnamed that never really grew. So what the question is in relation to that point, the current last known dragon, and that there is a dragon I'm trying to, there is a dragon obviously called Rhaegal, named after Rhaegar. Rhaegar himself being referred to as the last dragon. So will Rhaegal be Dany's last dragon? So basically, is Drogon going to die?
Yeah.
Correct.
But with Jon.
Got there. Yeah, I think we're going to see some dragon on dragon fighting in season 8.
Gemma, you were there for the Paula Fairfield interview. I'm not going to say that she straight up said that was going to happen, but people, Paula Fairfield is a sound designer for Game of Thrones season 8. And I'm just going to say that we're going to see some dragons. It's going to be badass. That's, yeah.
And not in a mating sort of way, if anybody's thinking that's what we're talking about.
No, not that kind of dragon on dragon action.
Well, we don't need the visual for it.
Jinx, JR.
Man. Alrighty then. And we read out Midnight Predator's question, which was no question at all. But thank you for the content. Hey, thank you for being here. We totally appreciate what y'all do for all of us and coming out and hanging out with chats and crafting theories and whatnot. It's great fun. We love it. So thank you.
So yes. Oh God.
SW Squirrels has just posted another one, but previously said que pasa puntos. Does that mean like passing points or something along those lines?
Rama Squirrels is a little bit tipsy, I think, because he's made a few donations.
No, making, texting people when you're drunk. I mean,
the horror, the shame. I mean, who would ever think of doing such things, Gemma?
Yeah.
Tisk Squirrels.
we have another fantastic creator in the chat who you could go check out. His name is Joe Magician. Has an absolutely fantastic video on.
You'd have to read out his comments.
Sup, nerds?
No, we're talking dragon sex. I have strong opinions.
Oh God! you know what we should do next Friday is we did it kind of like. I wasn't there for that one because I had the man flu. But Joe Magician, I'll throw you an invite to come on with us next Friday if you'd like. And we can talk about all sorts of weird shit like that. Maybe
that's the title. That's official.
No, that's not going to be the title because I will
Dragon Sex is going to be the title.
I will automatically get demonetized. But Joe,
well, okay, so I'm sure inside of this chat we have very, very crafty and wordsmithy people in here that can come up with a great euphemism for banging dragons.
Dragon sex for dummies.
Is brand tube your equivalent to porn tube?
Yes.
Or Pornhub or whatever it's called.
Yes,
that's pretty funny.
That is.
All right, back to more questions because we are getting incredibly off track here. Thank you, Run with Squirrels, for your drug donations. We appreciate that. Marvin Martin, George R. Martin loves eunuchs and duty over desire. Does he pity his wife? I'm confused by this, Gemma. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we could say he likes incest. Does he have a sister? There's a lot of awkward questions we could ask in relation.
I think in relation to that, yeah. George is trying to bring about issues that were actually happening in this time period, obviously, and current issues that are still here.
Do you know what I think he did? I think he made a very full and comprehensive list of taboos and then just set about ticking every single one off as he went along. Because you name a taboo that George R. R. Martin has not put into his series of
right. He smashes pretty much every taboo that's in there.
I can't think of one. I remember we had this conversation, JR, and you said, "Oh, what about?" And you said necrophilia, and I was like, and you were like, "Oh yeah,
there.
Yeah,
got it." There was even one stream that Kyle cut us off on before we went down a Ramsey path, and I went, "Oh shit, that's right. Yes, it is implied."
Thank you for your statement, not a question, Marvin.
Alzia, yes, he has, unfortunately. Yes, Mackenzie Burns, he's done that.
That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Marvin, I appreciate your donation. Just try to make them as clear as possible when you are saying something So we try to.
Oh, Lauren, you just nailed it.
So what we're gonna do now is all of the super chats. Now it's 7:30. We're an hour and a half in.
Can I answer Herb Coswell's question, because he's asked me about 64,000 times now, and it is specifically for me. Herb Coswell.
Yes.
This one is for Gemma. Is it possible that Arya Stark, after all is said and done, becomes Queen of the Seven Kingdoms by the end of the story? I think earlier on Herb did add that George R. R. Martin likes to put people in power that don't want it, aka Jon. And I think that's a really good point, because I think the present story as it stands, the reason why Jon's kind of had this thrust upon him is because needs must. We're assuming that this would happen with Arya once every kind of dust has settled, essentially. No, I don't think Arya would want it for a second. I don't think, whereas Jon doesn't want it, but he still does it, right? He still goes along with it.
He's fulfilling duty. Arya's not in the same vein that Jon is. It's different premise.
Yeah.
But Mr. Skillen does have questions. As Kyle alluded to earlier, and then didn't know that Jon actually had messaged me privately with them. So we're going to start with Kyle on this one. There's 3 questions. I would love to hear your thoughts on the identity of R'hllor.
Here's the thing about R'hllor and the Great Other. We have incarnations of people who are representations of what they are. I don't think there's an actual... like, hey, I'm blonde. I'm R'hllor. I have blue eyes. Like, I'm this guy. That type of thing.
So we're not going to get it. We're not going to get a Simpsons anecdote of who it is.
No, definitely not.
Okay, Gemma.
Do you want me to ask a trivia question? Because I disagree with everything that you guys said on that one.
Gemma is going to throw us a trivia question.
I didn't answer. I said okay, and then turned it to you.
Oh,
so you're going to ask a question.
I'm going to ask a question for the chat, Kyle. For the chat.
I'm not running the stream anymore.
Okay.
Kyle, are you passing the MC mic?
I don't know.
Oh, that's so easy. These are so easy.
This trivia is so bad, and I got one of them wrong earlier.
Okay. This is from season 2. Which of the following locations is not found in the north? Get your maps out, guys. Is it the Gift? Is it the Fingers? Or is it the Rills?
Oh,
no, come on.
Come on, guys.
Chat, you better get that. All the chat better get that right.
The Fingers is not in the north.
Really, Kyle? Oh my god.
You weren't supposed to answer that one. It was for the chat.
Oh god. Sorry, chat.
This is why we could never do Game of Thrones trivia, because Kyle would just give the answers out every single time. Right, Kyle, shut it. I'm going to do one more.
You know what? I'm not saying anything. I'm muting myself.
These are so easy. Okay. Oh, no, that's dead easy. I'll do it anyway. Thoros of Myr and Beric Dondarrion were wax nostalgic about all the times that the latter has died. So Beric has died. But who was the first person to kill Lord Beric Dondarrion? This is actually multiple choice, but it's so easy, I'm not giving you the options. Who was the first person to kill Lord Beric Dondarrion? Yeah, it is easy. Yeah, Jane's got it. Yeah,
super. I mean, what wasn't it Gregor Clegane? Wasn't it Gregor Clegane?
Yes, you are correct, Kyle.
I mean,
yes, we've just got a flood of mountains in the chat now.
Yeah, Mountain
see,
and Gregor.
I still answered for it. See, this is a problem, right? I can't not answer.
Well, actually, we'll ask you a question now, Kyle, and this is the second one from Mr. Skillen. Do you think that each Azor Ahai, Eldritch Shadow Chaser story from every country around Essos are different aspects of the same event, or the same event being repeated over and over throughout history in different places?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I think that history has definitely repeated itself within the Song of Ice and Fire, but I also think that the way information is passed through people, the way people interpret what has actually happened is actually, I mean, like if we, like, for example, if we play Banana Phone, I remember this time when I was in kindergarten, I said football, and someone said, "You're fucked." So,
well, it's a kindergartner, so of course it's going to come back to "you're fucked."
You know what I'm saying? So if you think of banana phone in that way, I mean, and information, the way history has been, I don't want to say manipulated, but obviously the way George has spoke about it more recently, about how the timelines don't fit with the maesters and all of that, it's very interesting. So I personally think that the long night has happened. There are some theories that, oh, the long night hasn't happened yet. This is the first long night. I don't think that at all. So yes, this happened before. And I do think that it has been interpreted by different cultures in different ways.
J-Lord, I apologize. We tried to get to him as fast as possible. But Gemma, go ahead and answer this question, and I will look in the chat for J-Lord's super chat.
I believe we got to that one.
Did we? Okay. Is it in our side chat, Kyle?
I believe we did get to J-Lord's.
It's not in the side chat. I've just checked. So
it's possible that we missed it.
I think we did accidentally miss that one. I have asked J-Lord to repeat his question, please. If that's okay. Yeah, I think these are different names and versions of the same event. Keep it nice and simple because we've got lots more questions to get through. Martin has just posted another one.
And we'll go ahead and get to that and get back to Mr. Skillen's last question. Jon will be demonized like Jaime for the greater good in the end. Also, the new age of science and modern might. George makes it ambiguous, about which age is really better.
So this is Martin, a super chat from the super chat, or
yep.
a super chat from the chat, right?
Yep.
What's really interesting is we see their in the show specifically, that interaction where they're shaking hands too, that interaction, Jaime ends up losing that hand. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, I think that they are quite similar. And Gemma, we talked about this and the Ragnarok and Westeros panel that we did at Con of Thrones and in other videos that we've talked about. JR, you've been part of this process as well. Jon and Jaime are actually quite similar.
They are. And this is part of this is why I hate that Jaime gets so much hate. Yeah, he pushed a kid out the window, but you're supposed to hate him in the beginning because you can't set up a redemption arc for somebody if they do something god awful in the beginning, right? I mean, come on. That's just kind of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in answer to Marvin's question, quite possibly, I don't think Jon's going to survive it personally. I think he will be some kind of self-sacrifice. But in what we were just saying about Jon and Jaime mirroring each other's journeys, it's almost like they kind of crossed over journeys in a way. There's a lot of opposition, like the white cloak, the black cloak, and we could go on and on about that one.
Yeah, they've been a yin yang for each other for quite some time. Exactly. I mean, it's okay, Kyle, you're good. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, oh crap, I was just trying to message you.
Yeah, but it feels like
20 centimeters of snow today, so I apologize.
Got it.
It feels that Jon and Jaime will probably both end in a similar way, as in a self-sacrifice in some way, shape, or form.
Jaime Fire King, Jon Ice King. I mean, they and the thing is that the Mad King, we don't. I mean, it's possible that he was influenced by Bran. A lot of people have been speaking about this, but I think that, I mean, even though the Mad King may have seemed like a terrible person, it's the same with the Night King. He didn't have the choice to be made into the Night King. So there's all of these little things that George inserts into the story to make you try to understand why someone is making the decisions that they're making, why they're saying what they're saying, and it's incredibly complex, right, for each character. And but yes, we're on the right path. That Jaime and Jon have to make some of the sort of same decisions, right?
Mackenzie, Kyle, apparently you have the camera is locked on me at the moment. Carl Childers, get him as always.
Meow.
You want it to stay locked on me? Okay, I guess we'll do that then. So this is Mr. Skillen's third and final question. If Dany and her dragons die before the Night King is defeated, Do you think Jon Snow would propose marriage to Cersei in order to unite the kingdoms and help humanity survive the long night?
John, me and you have spoke about this 10 times behind the scenes. No, no, shame. Are you trying to trigger me live on air, homie? Like, what's going on here?
That's hilarious. No, I didn't realize that was a trolling question, but yeah, he totally private messaged me, and I hope everything went good at the doctor's.
JR, you are fired.
Why am I fired?
Because of that question.
You didn't even tell me to step into your office.
John, I'll remember this. I will.
So now we were going to open up everything to the chat. It looks like we have about 15 minutes for your allotted time. I don't think we're going to be going into OT tonight as we've been on for
We're going to
nearly
extend
2
it
hours.
20 minutes. We got some overtime. It's pretty late for
Oh, we
Gemma,
are
though.
going overtime. Gemma, are you good for overtime?
5 extra minutes. 20. We got 20 minutes for chat. We're doing a lightning round on these, though. We got
Okay, as long as if it's a lightning round, then I can do 15, 20.
one sentence answers. We're going to answer as many questions as we have.
Okay, can I start with Herb then? Because I love Herb. He's gorgeous. Tinfoil theory. Bronn is revealed as a Bolton. Thoughts? Quick fire question. If Bronn is anybody of note, which I don't think he is,
No.
he would be the last son of Tarbeck.
Yeah, or Castamere. I don't know. It's zero.
Tarbeck.
Yeah, I think he's either going to be a Tarbeck or he's going to be of House Rain, if he's anybody significant.
But I don't think he is.
Yeah, 0%.
That's longer than a sentence. You guys are
0%. Let's go. Next question.
Q&A. Do you think Varys could be the son of Maester Aemon? And if this is true, how will that affect the story? Eagle Tattoo, thank you for the question.
No.
No.
Nope. All
If
right.
we're talking about a son of Maester Aemon, the most likely person to be that character is Craster. Next question.
When the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, when the seas go dry and the mountains blow like wind, or in the wind like leaves, if Dany gets pregnant, how do you think she'll fulfill this statement?
If you've ever read the tale, this is not going to be a quick fire. If you've ever read the Tales of Duncan Egg, there is